Welcome back to Tech Take. I'm Adam Housley on the road in Southern California. We're in Marina del Rey, California, and we're talking about the Coast Guard and the fact that they're having to deal with some significant cutbacks in defense. And here to talk more about defense in general is our weekly defense columnist, War Games columnist, defense specialist for FoxNews.com, Allison Barrie. She joins us from New York. I know, Allison, we've talked about every different service in the U.S. and how important they are. Of course, the Coast Guard, very integral in the defense of this country.
Absolutely.
And in regards to that, you have a really interesting potential airplane that hovers and flies. I mean, would this be used by which agency? Because all of them are cutting back, not just the Coast Guard here, but Navy, Air Force, Marines, everybody's cutting back. Explain to what this plane does, or is it called a plane, and which service would use it?
Right. So I'm pleased to say, in spite of all these drastic cutbacks and stuff, innovation is still happening. And in a large part, we have DARPA to thank for that. Adam, as you well know, DARPA is kind of the Q shop, James Bond's Q shop for the military. So I'm pleased to say it's very reassuring. They're still charging forward to ensure we have that superiority, technological superiority that we need to stay on top militarily wise. We want to make sure all of our warfighters are as safe as possible and have the best kit as possible. So this is a really great story. I'm pleased to hear it. It's called the X-Plane, which is slightly cool. Sounds a little bit like one of the popular movies that are coming out this summer blockbuster. And the skills are actually Hollywood worthy. So we're looking at a couple examples of the winning designs thus far, Adam. I don't know if you can see them out in the field, but we're looking at 3 different ones. One's by Boeing, one's by Karman, and one is by Sikorsky Aircraft. We don't sadly have the fourth contender. The field's been narrowed down to 4 companies, the 3 that I just listed, and Aurora Sciences. And I haven't seen that prototype yet, but I'm sure it's just as exciting. The idea here is it's mashing up a helicopter with an airplane, like a fixed-wing aircraft. So you get that sort of hovering and that vertical takeoff and lift from a helicopter with the speed of an aircraft, fixed-wing aircraft.
But Allison, I unfortunately I can't see the what you're showing right now. We'll see it at FoxNews.com. I'll be able to jump online and check out the article and the pictures there. But obviously, I'm extremely interested in about how this is going to work, because don't the Marines have a jet right now, or a plane? They do, the Harrier, right? That takes off vertically or horizontally. So what's different with this?
Right. Fantastic question. So we've already got some VTOL, it's called VTOL in the business, VTOL capability in the Osprey. You mentioned the Harrier. The Russians have one that they like a lot. The difference here is that it's kind of been the holy grail. It's a fantastic capability. People really love it. But wouldn't it be fantastic if we could make it even better? So there are 4 key areas here that DARPA is looking at improving on. One, the real crucial one, I'd say, is the speed. That's been really difficult to crack without trading off, like compromising on other things. So they're looking at about 400 knots, which is very fast, and it'll be a huge advantage, because clearly you want to get people, helicopters are used to, one of the purposes of helicopters, to go into areas that don't have airstrips, so you want that very fast entry and exit. It reduces the exposure to the enemy, reduces the vulnerabilities and stuff, and keeps the troops a whole lot safer. So speed is super important, and if you can combine it with that, sort of flexibility and that adaptability of where you can land, that would be awesome. They're also looking at improving the hover efficiency. They're looking at improving the lift-to-drag ratio, and also the amount it can carry. So how useful can it be? You want it to carry as much weight as possible, as quickly as possible. So I think this version, Adam, is looking at 40% of its weight, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's very impressive. What's the timeline on this thing? I mean, some of these DARPA things you brought to us are really cool, but they're a long ways to go until we get there. Some of the technologies that we've seen in the last couple of years have been stuff that is already on the market that could be on the consumer side of things soon. Where's this sit? How far along is this?
Right. So I love blue sky ideas and out-of-the-box thinking, but it's important to be practical too. So this one, they're really aiming to deliver in February 2018. So this is a pretty hard deadline, and thus far they've been on track. So these 4 competitors, it's just been announced, Boeing with Phantom Swift, which you gotta love the name, right? Cool name, Adam, Phantom Swift. So they definitely get points already from me on that one. Phantom Works always comes out with such cool stuff. I'm a huge fan of their shop, but they've narrowed down the field to 4 contenders, so that's a pretty short turnaround. We're in that's only a couple years out from now. So the idea is to have a prototype flying by February 2018. So that's a pretty close compressed timeline. And Boeing also impressively, you'd find this interesting, Adam, they were able to create their prototype from idea to, this is a scaled down version, to an operational little scaled down version in less than a month. That's some pretty rapid prototyping, and wow. In a time of such severe austerity, that's exactly the sort of innovative, thinking that we need to create the stuff that we need to.
Wow, very cool. If you want to learn more about this this new plane, you can check it out online. It's Allison Barrie has that article there, foxnews.com, but also you can find out more of the articles that she's talked about over the last couple of years, some of the really cool technologies that are out there and some of the things that our Defense Department and some of the other agencies are doing as we move forward with technology. Really interesting things. Again, some of them are already on the consumer market. Allison Barrie in New York, she's a defense specialist, war games columnist. We appreciate you joining us as always.
Thank you for having me, Adam.
All right, I'm Adam Housley. You're watching Tech Take, and we're on the road today in Marina del Rey, California.